also the ones who will be listening to this on streaming, hopefully, and definitely for the folks who are going to be listening to this on YouTube at some point. So good morning to everyone else. And it's always great, and it's always a wonderful opportunity to be able to speak here at Community Miracle Center and to just talk about my perspective of the course in every different aspect of my life, any aspect of it. And then also I have to say, for me, it's a special honor that Marie is here today to be here because for a while she was sort of like my mother-in-law, but not able together, so I have a special heart. And today is actually her birthday, which is even more special. So, yes, it's a wonderful gift. So I'm very, very grateful.
I'm honored to be here.
You're welcome. So, and also, as you guys know, this is the month of February, and also the month of February is Black History Month. So I want to say Happy Black History Month, because this is the time that we celebrate the history of Black and African Americans here in this society. And the interesting thing is about that is, for a while there, actually, I was somewhat annoyed, a little critiqued the fact that Black History Month was in February, mainly because I felt that we were short-shifted because it's only 28 days in February. And I'm like, oh fine, everything that you've done to us, and now we're like, only get 28 days in February, great. Part of our, society and country the way this is. But then the more I thought about it, and the more that I, reflect upon it, is also the month of February is a month of love. With Valentine's Day and all that. And I'm like, wow, wait a minute here. Take a moment and think that this actually is a wonderful gift that we was given. Having Black History Month in the same month of something where we celebrate love. Yeah. It's an opportunity, in my mind, for us to do all the healings that have happened, in the past. And some things are still happening in the present. And how beautiful and how wonderful that actually really is. And so it has helped me shift and to be able to see that differently, which makes me feel much more at peace regarding it, and have a better sense of understanding of the purpose of Black History Month and the purpose of the fact that we are in a month of love. And the fact is that Black History used to only be celebrated for a week. In fact, they are doing it for a month also. This shows a lot of shift and a lot of healing that our country has been doing. And so that in myself feels right at this moment. And I'm grateful for that. I'm just grateful for the opportunity and just the reminder of the importance of bringing love into our lives, no matter what is going on, whatever is happening in this world. And so that brings me to what I decided to talk about today. Garrett sent us out a message about a month ago, letting us know that, for the month of February, they would like for us to talk about, love and relationships. So him and Reverend Tony came up with this idea of doing that for February. And so Reverend Tony had already spoke about it, twice this month. Reverend Peter talked about it last month, and so now it's my opportunity to be able to talk about it. And then I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I wish I was not the last person talking about love and relationship. I should have been the first one, but no, that's okay. Reverend Peter and I switched last week because of conflicts there, so I appreciate it. And so I thought about it, and so the thing that kept coming up to my mind of what I wanted to talk about was regarding the journey of love and relationship. And so it just kept coming to my mind, and then I'm like, okay, Spirit, what is it about it that you want me to talk about? And, because Spirit always has something in mind, because one of the things that I do is whenever I'm giving a talk, I always turn it over to the Spirit to ask the guidance of what it is that I'm supposed to talk about. And so that kept coming up in my mind, and I'm like, okay, why are you coming up in my mind? Because I have not been in a relationship for over 1.5 years. And so I'm like, okay, what do I have to talk about? I have not had a relationship. I've been, single for quite a while, which has been very unusual. I have been someone who's been in relationships, for quite a while. And to be at the point in my life right now where that doesn't exist, it was like, okay, wait a minute here. What are you trying to tell me here? What is it that I'm supposed to look at? What is it that I'm supposed to heal? Regarding the fact is, because I recognize and I understand it has not been easy. For me to be single for so long. It's been very frustrating. Trying to date in this world and understanding what my thought, my perception of what I perceive a relationship is, and how challenging that has then, and then me, getting, afraid of like, oh my God, am I going to be alone? Because I'm not, in a relationship. Because, this year I have a big milestone happening. I'll be turning 50 this year, and so I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be a 50-year-old man, single. So all those thoughts definitely was entering my mind, regarding that, and I'm like, okay, take a step back and realize and appreciate actually the fact that I have been blessed. I've had many relationships in my life, and they've all been beautiful. Not always perfect, but they have been, beautiful. I've been in a 4-year relationship. I've been in a 10-year relationship. I've been in a 11-year relationship. I've been in 3 2-year relationships. So I have experimented in a relationship for, quite a while. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute here. How about appreciating that? Instead of dwelling on what is happening right now of me not being in a relationship, but actually appreciate the ones that actually I did have. And understanding and realize that that was part of my growth, at that time, for me to evolve as a person and to understand and get a better sense of what is it that relationship is about, but also what is it that love is about. Because I think a lot of times, at least in my mind, and what I, think about it is that we grow up getting an idea of what a relationship is supposed to be about, mainly because of what's, on TV and movies and how they romanticize it and how that, oh my God, it's going to be happily ending for everyone. All that stuff happens. We recognize that's what, society has, and that's what's, had been in my mind, and, and recognizing that. But I also recognize the fact those role models or those images does not represent who I am. A lot of the times they were the, typical national, what they say, man and woman relationship. A lot of those romantic movies were, and that's what it was about. And a lot of those were actually mostly of white couples and not of black couples. And so, so those are the images that I recognize that, existed in here. And it's like, okay, how does I relate to that? How do I connect to that? How do I understand and have a model regarding what, the relationship is about? And so I'm like, okay, I get that. And I understand that that's the way it is. But then I, recognize and I understand that regardless what that situation was, it was an opportunity for me to learn from it and to see what it's about, and for me to figure out what my own purpose is, for my understanding of how I perceive and how I see what love is and how that connects with me being in a relationship regarding that aspect of it. And so the course reminds us of this. Any relationship which you would substitute for another has not been offered to the Holy Spirit for its use. There is no substitute for love. If you would attempt to substitute one aspect of love for another, you have placed less value on one and more on the other. I love that line. If you would attempt to substitute one aspect of love for another, you have placed less value on one and more on the other. What a powerful quote and lesson from the course. To understand what that really means and what that really is about. And it made me, think about and, reflect on my earlier relationships before I got involved with the course. Pre-course, I definitely had my ideas of what a relationship was, and I, realized during, before I started studying the Course of Miracles, of how I was in those relationships. And, my last talk, had a lot to do with me being present, and I realized, before I got involved with the course, how often actually I was not present in those relationships at all. I just was not there. I was in my own little world, during that time. I realized at that time also is that I was not very good at communicating in my relationships. No matter what was going on, I would say, nah, don't need to talk about it. Everything is fine, no worries at all. It's just like all these things. I would never ever allow myself to be connected at all in those, relationships before I came into the course. And I realized, part of that is because I did not bring spirit into those relationships. It was early on because I didn't, know about the course, and I didn't understand the importance of how to bring that, in. And, me reflecting on those relationships of realizing how much harm, I caused in those relationships. Yes, I love them, and yes, they love me, but I was not giving them myself. I was not giving them my true self of who I am, of what this world made me of, because of my own doubts, of my own insecurity that I had, in my own self during that time period. And definitely, before I got into the course of how things have shifted, regarding that. And that happened, in my relationships that I was with the person that I was with for 10 years and the person that I was with for 4 years. But those relationships was definitely, pre-course. And now I have a better sense and a better understanding of myself. Things have shifted in my, relationships that I had after the course. They still were not as perfect. It's just human nature that, nothing's perfect, but that's okay. And we, and we just have to own that and understand that and appreciate that. But the course does tell us this. Yet you had judged against yourself first, or you would never have imagined that you needed them as they were not. Unless you had seen yourself as without love, you could not have judged them so like you in lack. So I learned a lot from those, previous, relationships that I were, in before the course. I did, take the time to reflect and take the time to really, really understand what my part was in it and understand that it was not about me putting the blame on them, which I think a lot of times we do in relationships. It's very easy to blame the other person about, okay, no, it's your fault, the reason why I'm acting this way. It's your fault, the reason why I cannot, communicate to you. It's very easy to do that. And then I, realized that no, I had to take ownership of my own part in it and how that actually played, in the relationship and how I perceive, things. And it helped. It really, really helped me to be able to, shift that and to be able to see those relationships in the past very loving, very healing, and recognizing the fact that I have been fortunate because I have still been able to establish, relationship with those individuals that was even, pre-course. Unfortunately, one of them was not present, in this world anymore. But yet, up to that person, passed away, we still had a, good connection with one another, and I'm very, grateful and very appreciative of that, understanding of what that, understands. And then, of course, tells us and reminds us of this: all your relationships are blessed in the holy instant, because the blessing is not limited. In the holy instant, the sonship gains as one, and united in your blessing. It becomes one to you. The meaning of love is the meaning God gave to it. All your relationships are blessed in the holy instant, because the blessing is not limited. All our relationships are blessed. Every relationship that we have is blessed. And that is the beauty of what the Course, in my mind, is about. It is about recognizing and appreciating the incredible gift that we have when we are connected with another human being. How beautiful that is. And also how beautiful it is if we also connected with it. I know I have a lot of friends who love and cherish their animals, and how that's part of their relationship and their love as well. That is what it is. And when I thought about that, I'm like, wow. That is where I want to be. That is my journey and understanding of what love and relationship is really about. And it made me think about a couple of movies that I did appreciate, that I really valued, that I felt that it brought a lot, to me. And those, two movies were If Beale Street Could Talk and Moonlight. In my mind, these were two powerful movies that I was able to connect with. The first movie, If Beale Street Could Talk, one of the beauty things that I loved about it, I felt that it showed what it was like when two people truly connected as one. It was not about them being separate. Ever since childhood, they connected, and it went on to adulthood. And one of the things the course teaches us is that we actually are not separate, that we are one. And that demonstrated that to me. And it's like, wow, what beauty that is. Even when it appeared that they were separated for, something that, happened, you still felt and sensed the connection that they have. And that's what love is. And that's what a relationship is. It is not about us trying to change someone, but about us accepting them for who they are and allowing them to evolve together as one. That, for me, resonated so much, because that is where I would like to be able to be, in the present and in the future. Be able to understand what that true connection is. To imagine, to accept someone fully for who they are. Not judging them, but being present with them. Every brother God loves as he loves you, neither less nor more. And this brings me to the other movie that I appreciated and that I loved was Moonlight. And of course, I love Moonlight for many different reasons. But definitely one of the main reasons was because it was a movie that was about two black men loving each other. And me, realizing what a wonderful gift to be able to see that on a big screen, of them showing in this country two black men embracing themselves with love. And recognizing how much that has shifted my own thinking of the beauty of how things are starting to shift and change in this world. And yes, these two characters knew each other also when they were younger, but yet there was this connection also, this true love that they had for one another, despite of whatever appearance of obstacles may have entered their way. And so when we think about love, when we think about relationship, it really is about recognizing no matter what's happening in this world, that we stay together and that we be blessed of what that is about. One of the things that I value is when I reflect upon my relationships, even though I'm single right now, especially the ones that I've had after the course, I recognize and understand what it brought to me and understand that a lot of those relationships has changed form. Yes, we may not be boyfriends or partners anymore, but yet I'm still part of their lives and they're still part of my life. And what happened is, it transformed and formed into a much higher level. And for me, definitely a more spiritual level. One of the things that Reverend Peter joked with at my Valentine's party was that 3 of the guys that I dated was actually at my party. And just what a gift that is to be able to have that and to see what that is. We transform our relationship in a way that's supposed to be, into a more higher level. And I've been very blessed to be able to do that. And among those, relationships that I had, it's very clear that, it went to a higher level, a very higher spiritual level, and another connection that it's supposed to be. And that's the way it's supposed to happen. Relationships are supposed to evolve together. We involve ourselves individually, but then we evolve when we start connecting with one another. And the important thing is we have to remember we love ourselves, we love others, and we love this community, this world that we are in. That's what we have to do. And for me, that's the journey I am on, to continue to love myself, to love others, and to love everyone else who comes into my world. Who knows what the universe is going to bring me down the road, but I know it's going to be a very powerful and healing thing. And that's my thought.